Hi, my name is Jules Miller. I'm the Vice President of Safety here at Swift Transportation, and today I'm joined by my esteemed colleague, John Butler. John spent 27 years in law enforcement, 20 of that with a background in the DUI task force or leading the DUI task force there as well. And now he's been with us in the trucking industry for over 12 years. So John's going to talk to us a little bit today about some of the consequences of alcohol use and DUI. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. So John, tell us about what kind of experience you have in alcohol and DUI issues.
So the majority of my career was centered around DUI and DUI investigations. 20 of my 27 years was involved in that. Basically, we would go out and hunt DUI drivers because the removal of them prevented accidents and for prosecution and make the streets safer.
Yeah, I bet you've seen some crazy things in that job. Can you tell us a little bit about some accounts you have of drinking and driving and the lifelong effects it can have on people?
The thing I find personally is the most tragic about DUI is that you could be going down the road and it could be the final step of your life, and you don't have a chance to say goodbye. You don't have a chance to tell the loved ones, what you think about them. You could have left in an argument and you couldn't conclude with your spouse or significant other. The outcome of DUI is so tragic in a lot of cases. One was that we had worked all night long. It was Easter morning. We were getting ready to go home, and it was a long night, and we were doing paperwork, and we were heading out, and it was about 6:37 in the morning, and a college student was driving to church. And he was hit by a drunk driver that crossed the center line right in front of the local hospital, and there was nothing they could do for him. One of the hardest things for us is to go talk to the victim's family and do death notification. And when we got to talking to the parents, and they had tried for 20, 25 years to have a child, and that was their sole surviving. That was their only child.
I mean, some terrible outcomes in those cases. Heartbreaking how it can get to that point. Can you tell us a little bit about thinking about ahead of that, how does alcohol affect the body and how can it affect your ability to operate a commercial motor vehicle?
Well, I think people, they underestimate the use of alcohol, and basically the first thing that goes is judgment. Our judgment is not clear. The more alcohol we make, the worse decisions we make. Nowadays there's no excuse, even if you're in your personal vehicle. There's Uber and taxis and Lyft, and scientific community says even between an 0.2 and an 0.4, which is about 2 alcoholic drinks with a shot, or 2 beers or 2 glasses, 4 ounce glasses of wine, people are showing some signs of impairment. The initial things that start to affect is fine motor skills. Fine motor skills, and driving is a multitask behavior, so you basically have to be able to look at signs, look at other vehicles, look in your mirrors, and then make adjustments in your vehicle, whether you're going from the gas to the brake or using your signal. And then it goes, as the alcohol increases, it goes to gross motor skills, and then you start seeing the changing lanes and the ability to make proper turns, and depth perception and vision goes. With the vision, basically they're seeing lights change, from green to yellow to red, and they basically are pushing the light or don't see the sequence of the light changing. And there you get your intersection accidents.
Yeah, so those are all good things that can help us identify two other vehicles on the road that could be impaired driving around us, right? If a commercial driver gets a DUI, what could the impact on their career or their life be?
The first thing is they're going to have to deal with the arrest. And so the arrest itself is they're going to lose their CDL. The CDL is going to be suspended or revoked. So they lose the capability of driving a commercial vehicle. There's going to be probably fines involved, which would basically, and without a job now, without any source of income, they're going to be struggling to pay those fines. The court can also have them attend adult diversion courses, and it's a burden. After you get out there, after an incident like this, you also have to explain to your family what's happening. You have to search for another job, and now there's a federal drug and alcohol clearinghouse, which we're mandated to report DUI arrests and alcohol violations, and they're listed. So if they attempt to get a job at another location, then they're going to do checks on it, and they'll find that they have a DUI outstanding, and they won't be able to get hired with another trucking company.
Yeah, so basically the loss of your livelihood, your CDL, in addition to just all the safety risks it poses and potentially your life, right? And then having to explain that and the shame involved with that to your family, to your loved ones, how you could make a decision like that.
Sure.
Crazy. How do DUIs and alcohol use and stuff like that affect Swift or trucking companies?
I always look at incident, does it pass the Monday morning headline test? And something like this would put a black mark on our companies. Other businesses, other companies are looking to do business with us. It could affect the business that they might not want to, be involved with us because of, are their drivers safe? That's what they're thinking about. Do they have a propensity to have impaired drivers? It also affects our federal scoreboard with CSA scores. And obviously is that, the higher the score is that you can have intervention from the federal government, and we have other issues involved with that. And then, the driver itself, if he's involved in a collision that somebody's injured or, God forbid, killed, then they're going to not look at DUI. They're going to look at felony charges for manslaughter, negligent homicide. And in my career, we've sent people to prison for 12, 15 years. And,
Wow.
That's a big chunk of people out of a young person's life or any person's life.
Yeah. So there's ultimately, obviously, the safety aspects of it, but, ultimately, too, it could impact our ability to get new business from our customers as well, which impacts the opportunities that are available to you with this company. So, yeah, lots of, outside your own safety, lots of potential business impacts in there, too, that could affect, your paycheck there, too. So I guess my last one, John, do you have any advice for our driving associates for themselves, but also how do I identify others on the road that may be impaired?
Well, I'll take that with the people. If they observe people that are impaired on the road, best thing they can do is call 911 because they're not only a hazard to other vehicles, but maybe to themselves as well. We know that a lot of collisions are caused by other vehicles that are moving into our lanes or moving to our vehicles. My advice to our driving associates, look, I'll have a cocktail, you'll have a cocktail. There's nothing wrong with that, but you have to make a good judgment decision. Is that I would say stay away. If you have any contact with the truck, do not consume any alcohol, do not possess any alcohol in the truck. If you go home for your 34, it's okay to drink on your first night and stuff like that, but as you get closer to that 12-hour window before you go on duties, stop drinking alcohol, stop consuming alcohol. Make the wise decision. Don't carry alcohol in your truck at all because it's a violation under federal law, it's a violation under state law, and the thing is, the association is when officers see alcohol in a truck, the next thing they're doing is checking to see if you're impaired. So don't carry alcohol. I know truck stops sell alcohol. Sometimes it's the culture of, have a beer after work and stuff. But keep in mind is that you could be woken up in the middle of the night and asked to move the truck, which we just recently had an incident where a driver was woken up. He was illegally parked because there wasn't enough spaces. He turned around and he ended up hitting the fuel tanks and stuff like that. So just stay away from the alcohol when you're working and when you're in possession of the truck.
Yeah, I think those are all great points. Thanks again for joining us here, John, today. And I think, the overarching message here is alcohol use can have consequences on you, your ability to operate the motor vehicle. It can, even from people driving around you, can have consequences both on your life and your CDL. Our policy is don't do it. So be aware of what's out there, folks. And thanks for not drinking and driving.